All right. Here we go. This is the run. Okay. This is the run, as in we're not even there yet. Okay. I don't... The argument of whether or not a mod is too hard is like an impossible argument in the first place. Because if you make a mod easy, then a lot of people will say, what's the point in playing it? If you make it hard, then some people will say, oh, it's too hard for me, I don't want to play it. If you make it nearly impossible, then everyone will respect it as being hard, and the people that do beat it will say it's like the best, but then other people will complain. Like, because it's a mod, people expect it to be harder, because it's just the way mods go most of the time. But how hard it is really is just completely up to you. And the player just has to deal with it because it's a mod, you know? Like, I don't know how to word it, but like, you can't really... There is no right or wrong way to make a mod because it's a mod. If that makes sense. Like, it's gonna be up to your discretion anyways. And if you make it so hard that only like 3 people can beat it, then those 3 people are gonna be happy you made it that hard. Because they actually got something out of it and stuck with it. So I don't know. It really just depends on what you want. Nice. It really just depends on what you want out of the mod, because if you want everyone to play it and everyone to enjoy it, then yeah, I guess there is like a ceiling to how hard to make it. You know what I could do? Never mind, that's not gonna work. Do you want everyone to be able to play and enjoy it, or do you want people to respect it as a difficult mod? I think those are really the only 2 questions to ask yourself. As to how difficult you truly make it, like, that's kind of just up to yourself. No one can tell you. I don't think anyone can tell you that your super difficult, crazy mod is too hard. You know what I mean? Like, you can say that to yourself. I don't think anyone else can say that to you. Like, it's your mod, like, you know, you meant for it to be hard. I don't think anyone can be like, this is too hard. Like, it's a mod, you signed up for it. This sucks, because I can put this guy to sleep, but then Riku might just wake him up. Right. As soon as you call it something like Masters Challenge, there's really not a lot people can complain about. Well, I have to hope this guy goes to sleep, I guess. Actually, he doesn't get a turn for a while. I think we're okay. But, you know, even when it comes to regular games, the discussion of difficulty is always a weird one. Because everyone has such a different kind of thought on what's hard and what's not hard. in some games, part of their identity is being hard. But games also have to sell a amount of copies, so... I think I should use Riku's overdrive here. Maybe. And then, you know, there's always the argument of like, well, why not just put in an easy mode? And it's like, well, some games, their kind of identity is being... Oh, never mind, I can't eat. She's berserk. You know, like Dark Souls and stuff, people will say like, oh, if you put it in easy mode, then nobody gets the satisfaction of beating the game because anyone can just beat it on easy. It's always a circular argument. It's like you have to be good enough at the game in order to beat it. But then you can make the argument of like, well, if you give it an easy mode, then you just have to be good enough to beat it on the harder mode, and people will like understand that if you beat it on easy, you didn't really beat it. But then they'll argue that like part of even being able to see the later parts of the game is is like, if you're good enough, you get to see the rest of the game, and if you're not, then you don't. But then people make the argument, well, then what's the point of developers spending 5 years making a game if only 10% of the audience gets to even see it? So it's always a circular argument. I think in today's world, gaming is such a casual thing and also so popular with like kids that putting an easy mode in pretty much every game is not a horrible idea. I have to do this and just hope for the best. I think having most games be accessible is smart for everyone. If you want to make frickin' Sekiro and you want to be like, this game's only for the true gamers, this is awful. I think we're just dead. This couldn't have gone worse. You know, if you want to make a game like Sekiro and say only the good gamers are going to be able to play this game, that in itself makes people want to play it enough to be good at it. You know what I mean? Like, Demon Souls really hit it perfect because the people that were good enough to beat Demon Souls didn't complain, and the people that weren't good enough to beat Demon Souls, the game itself had an aura of like, you're a true gamer if you beat this game. So then that made them want to get better at it and then eventually beat it and then feel rewarded for beating it. So in certain situations, it does work. Now, if we make Super Mario World extremely difficult and we don't give it any kind of accessibility feature for kids, kids are going to play it for 10 minutes and quit and never play it again. So there's a balance, you know? But I think for some games it works, and for other games, like, don't be stupid, put in accessibility features. But then when it comes to like mods and stuff, obviously anything goes. I don't know. If I cast haste, Titus will get like 97 turns, and then maybe we can make this work, but because they're slowed also. Okay, or we'll just get 2 turns. Okay, whatever. Cool. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of like, especially when it comes to like the teenage demographic. I've always been a big proponent of make the games for teenagers and their little brothers will want to play it. And I've been saying that since like the PS2 era. And that doesn't mean make every game PG-13, but like in terms of you know, difficulty and like vibe, if you make cool games, quote unquote, for older brothers, and then you make baby games for the little brothers, what do you think the little brothers are going to play? They're obviously going to play the game that their big brother is playing. So that tends to usually be the best way to go. And I think for difficulty, it's pretty similar. If you make games somewhat difficult, the lower end will rise up to the occasion. If you make games mostly easy, then the lower folks will be fine, and the folks that are better will kind of just not like it. So I think in general, games should probably be harder than they are. At least I would have said that a couple years ago. Nowadays, I think games are mostly hard. I think games are much harder nowadays. And I think it's because they realized the same thing I did. That if you make games harder, people will just get better. For the most part. Hey, good to see you, Guitar Hero. Welcome, man. Thanks so much for being here. That's fine, I think. Maybe. Okay, that's fine. Well, there's a difference between difficulty and unfairness. I think games used to be more unfair. I don't think Super Mario Bros. 3 is a difficult video game. I think it's an unfair video game in terms of how games are nowadays. Super Mario Bros. 3 is not hard. It's just you have 3 lives and you have to play everything over again, and that frustrates most people. I think if you sit someone down and say, beat a level in Super Mario Bros. 3, and then you sit the same person down and say, beat this boss in Sekiro, one is going to be obviously harder, but one gives you infinite tries. Right, they were much more unforgiving. So... And that was, a lot of that was due to just the way the market was. You had games that were ridiculous amounts of money, like $70 in today's money back then. Or you would get the game from like a rental store and have it just for the weekend, and they needed it. The games weren't as long, so they needed it to last longer. And so a lot of it was just trying to get the game to last as long as they could without making more game. Don't know if we're going to be able to kill this thing. I gotta hope he hits the right one. I think even then we're in trouble though. I think I accidentally used a marble, didn't I? Well, we're still dead. No, we're not dead, but we're... That's annoying. Yeah, I think the basic requirements to playing a game is much harder nowadays. I mean, even just the barrier to entry to a lot of games, you know. Games were very simple before. The other thing about the difficulty, or like the unfairness of games, is nowadays there's so many games to play, whether it be free-to-play games or 7 million games on Steam or whatever. And so game companies can't make games that are like unforgivingly frustrating unless that's the whole gimmick of the game, or else people just play something else. The majority of people didn't have that luxury back in the day. Guess we do this. I was gonna say, where are all Titus's turns? Because, like, he's hasted and they're slowed. We're dead. We're not dead. Thought that guy was getting a turn. Oh, the Waka crit. I think the worst is the implication that if you find it hard, you just haven't tried hard enough. I'm not sure I see what's wrong with that. But I tend to be someone who says anyone can do anything with enough work, and you tend to usually disagree with that. So we're kind of on two different general feelings towards that. Okay. Should be able to win this just fine. Except might have an issue here. I just don't even know anymore. I think the vast majority of people, vast majority of people underestimate themselves in pretty much everything. Like, I think you're talking very, very specific scenarios where people can't do something like can't do something when it comes to, like, video games. I don't think, well, I'm not talking about this mod at all. When it comes to this mod, I don't think there's anything wrong with this mod at all. I think it's a Masters challenge. And it's completely doable. There's no section I've thought has been unfair in any way. My only actual difficulty complaint was the ambushes, but I changed my mind on that. But yeah, no, I don't think there's any issue at all with this mod. It says it's a Masters challenge. It's a Masters challenge. Every section has been completely doable. I know because I did them. So, yeah. The idea that anyone can do anything by just trying harder, but I don't think that's what I don't think that. I think that's exaggerating. Like, at least in terms of video games, I don't think there's any video game that's like, we're gonna make this mega hard, but then convince everyone that they can do it. Like, I don't think that exists. This guy really didn't... Okay, I think we're fine. Like, I think in general you're making an argument that no one's making with that. Like, who's out there saying my infant child can run a marathon if she tries hard enough? I think that just leads to toxic positivity, which is a whole nother issue. Well, that's kind of what you're saying, right? Like, to say anyone can do anything if they try hard enough, that's, like, the only way that that's wrong is if you go to, like, the extremes of, like, goofy stuff. No, not the ambush. There's nothing I can do here. Their first attacks do 2,000 damage, and I can't one-shot them. We just lose. We just lose unless they both miss. Oh, there's one miss. That's fine. What are these guys going to do, though? And we're dead. And we're dead. No. I was going to try to do the skull. But again, like, I think we're strawmanning here. Like, who's making that argument? Maybe with the money thing. I've definitely heard some politicians be like, which I'm not getting into politics, but I've heard some politicians say, like, if you're not rich, that's your fault. And it's like, there's more to it than that. But in terms of difficulty in doing things, I don't think many people are making that argument. I think, if anything, it's just people downplaying what they can actually do. I've heard many, many people watch me do challenge runs or speed runs and say, I could never do that. And I think that's just objectively completely wrong. You know, and of course someone's going to say, well, what if they are deaf and blind and have no limbs? Then they probably can't. But the person watching saying that is a totally normal human being who probably plays video games often if they're watching me on Twitch. So yes, I'm willing to say 99% of the time, whatever I'm doing, you can do it. For sure. You know, when I started doing challenge runs and speed runs, if you guys remember, any OGs from back in the day, if you guys remember, kind of the whole idea behind me even starting speedrunning was because of people saying stuff like that. And I said, I'm going to start speedrunning games that I don't think I can speedrun. Like, I'm going to go to speedrun.com and I'm going to pick a game that I'm like, no way I could ever speedrun that. And that's the one I'm going to speedrun. And that's why my first speedrun I ever did on Twitch was Dishonored. I had never even played Dishonored. I had just beaten it for the first time. And I was not, quote-unquote, good at it. I just beat it. I just beat the game. Then I said, I'm going to speedrun this. And then from there, a lot of the other projects I did were specifically because it was something I thought I would be bad at. Oh, that's annoying. Because I didn't want to just do stuff I was good at. I wanted to improve at stuff I was bad at. I think saying that, I mean, I don't know. Disagree with what? I do. I mean, patience is something you can improve, though. I don't think people realize that. A lot of patience is just enjoying the thing you're doing. If you enjoy the thing you're doing, you'll have patience for it. If you hate it, you'll have no patience for it. I don't know, everyone has a different opinion on like what percentage is talent and which percentage is work. I think with video games, a very, very, very small amount of it is talent, if I'm being honest. Because when I was growing up, I sucked at video games just like everyone else. Like, I sucked at every game I played. I barely beat any game growing up. And I never really got that much better at video games until I, like, started playing them with the desire to get better. That's what really changes, like, with anything, I think. Anything. If you go out and play basketball every weekend with the boys and just have fun, you're not really going to get much better at basketball. You're just going to be like, you know, you're going to have your own things that you're good at, and that's going to be it. Until you actually watch yourself play basketball, play with the desire to get better, play with, like, someone, a coach telling you how to get better, play with people that are better than you, you know, understand the game more, all the different things that you can do. That's when you'll get better. And it might sound cringe to say you can do that with video games because they're video games, but it's true. It's true. You know, I didn't get good at Dishonored speedrunning just by, like, playing Dishonored for 900 hours. I focused on improving. And pretty much any professional athlete that I've heard will agree that you don't really get better until you start trying to get better. I watched some documentary about, it was a League of Legends player. And they had said something about, like, hitting a wall until they watched their own footage. Like, watching their own footage, like, changed everything. Because that's when, like, they changed their mindset from just playing and playing and playing to, like, actually trying to get better. But yeah, I think when it comes to playing video games well, whatever that entails, whether it be challenge running or speed running or playing difficult games or whatever, I think most of it is just practice and playing, and so, like, I don't think it's much talent, because I think everyone sucks at pretty much every video game the first time they play it. I don't think you really get, like, ingrained video game skills. But having said that, I do very much realize that, like, kids growing up nowadays have, like, an innate ability to be better at technology, which is crazy. I've seen it even in my kids. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how the generations below us just pick up technology like it's a third limb. It's kind of crazy. So there's got to be something there. There's got to be something there. Some kind of innate ability to understand technology and like games. I think so. I mean, like, my kids were really bad at video games when I first introduced them to video games. Like, horrible. Like I was like, you guys are worse than I was. Like, crazy. I couldn't believe it. But then at some point it, like, clicked. And now I feel like they're better than I was when I was their age. So I don't know. But I still think it's, you know, 90-10. 90% working hard and practicing. I know it sounds cringe to say working hard at video games, but for the sake of argument here, working hard, practicing, dedicated practicing to actually getting better. 90% is that. 10% is innate talent. And if you want to say part of it is like physical ability as well, because people always make the argument like some people have like more dexterity, you know, especially with stuff like esports and stuff. Like, there is a physical dexterity aspect to it. But it's pretty minimal, I think, in relation to other things, like other sports. I think there's less of a dexterity dependence to video gaming than, like, basketball. Basketball, height is like 50% of your ability, which is sad, but true. But there is a dexterity aspect for sure. I've heard of, like, some pros not being, you know, like FPS games and stuff. Some people just don't have the hand dexterity and hand-eye coordination to, like, be that higher level of skill gap. But I think all that stuff is pretty minimal to practice when it comes to video games. I think video games has a pretty unique place where a really big amount of it is the work you put into it, you know? More so than any other sport, if you call it a sport. I think if you're going to be a professional baseball player, you got to be born with a certain amount of physical strength and ability, and you have to work super hard, and you have to get super lucky. I think same thing with, like, football, basketball, many things. Video games, I think, are a pretty interesting thing where a lot of it is what you put into it. I'm gonna die here. Wow. Y'all got me distracted. I'm blaming it on you. We're way over time. I'm giving this one more shot. Yeah, I'll blame you. That's my given right as a streamer. When I signed up for Twitch, that was one of the things I signed. The right to blame chat on anything. Oh, this kind of sucks. Even if I put haste on Waka, you can only blind one of them. I think we just gotta do this. This is a terrible fight to get first. You can blame me if you want. You'd be wrong, but you can do it. No one's gonna stop you. That was so brutal. The ball smack. Do you guys think, because now I'm kind of thinking about it, you know how, everyone kind of sucks at basketball until they practice shooting a ball? Everyone sucks at baseball until they swing a club. Or swing a club, swing a bat. I was thinking golf next. Swing a bat. Everyone sucks at golf until they swing a club. But then, every once in a while, there is like a phenom. There's a Tiger Woods that, like, at 4 years old, they're swinging a club correctly and stuff. Do you think that exists with gaming? And if it does that mean that what I said is kind of wrong, and gaming has the same amount of, like, innate ability. I don't know. I feel like even prodigies, though, I would make the argument that prodigies are prodigies because they have so much passion for the thing that they just work really hard. I really don't think, you know, I think movies have kind of like ruined our understanding of this, because in the movies, it'll show like Tiger Woods picking up a club for the first time and being like, goo goo gaga, boom, and then he hits like a 300-yard freaking drive. I don't think that's how it actually worked. I think he loved golf so much as a 4-year-old that he was already swinging the club like crazy, and so he just got the rhythm because he worked on it so much, because he loved it so much, and he was 4 years old, so it all stuck. You know what I mean? I don't think it was literally like the first time he touched a club, he hit a ball super far, you know? I just don't think that's how it works, like, for anyone. But did Tiger Woods probably have some innate God-given talent? Yes. But I still think the majority of it is that he was passionate about it, so he just did it a lot. You know? I still think it's a very small percentage of a small percentage of his skill is because he was just given the skill. He was given the passion. I think that maybe a lot of it is... Oh god, if this guy hits me, I'm dead. Alright, well. This is a bit of an oof. Maybe if I can put... Okay, never mind. Game hates me. I was going to say if I could put him to sleep, then maybe I could overdrive with Titus and save this, but... Oh, game hates me, so it doesn't matter. See, but that's where I disagree. I really do. I think that ceilings and floors don't exist. At least not in the way that you think they do. I think that's you in your past experiences of trying things, not having the passion for them, and thinking you're bad at them has clouded your judgment. That's what I personally think. You can 100% disagree with me. That's totally fine. But that's just what I think. I think a kid was born to love piano, and so he started on a level 1 piano skill, but he loved it so much that when he started playing it, he had the ability to just understand it quicker. He played it more. It sunk in quicker. Like, his ability to absorb, let's say his XP multiplier was higher. Okay, let's put it in video game terms. He started at level 1, but his XP multiplier was higher, and he put in more work. So he's at a 3 times multiplier, plus he played for way more hours. And so he's at a level 100 by the time he's 5. You were born, started at a level 1 piano. Your XP multiplier is 0.5 because you hate piano and you're not good at it, or at least you think you're not good at it, or you're not good at it at the moment. So your multiplier is at a 0.5, plus you barely ever play it because you don't like it. So you get up to level like 3 and you're done, and you're like, my ceiling is 3. And this kid's already at 100 by the time he's 4 years old. You're 20 and you're at a level 3 and you're like, what the heck? But I still think that you both started at level 1 and you both could reach level 100. You know what I'm saying? At your 0.5 multiplier, it's going to take you 10,000 hours to get to that level 100. But I think the level 100 is still there. I don't think you're capped. And I think that kid also started at level 1. Does that make sense? That's how I see it. I think everyone starts at level 1 and everyone can get to level 100. But your multipliers and the amount you put in are completely different. And that's based on maybe God-given talent, maybe God-given passion, maybe just your ability, your other abilities like your dedication and perseverance and patience. But I think it all comes down to everyone still starts at level 1. The kid didn't come out of the womb knowing how to play Bach, you know. He still looked at the piano and someone had to tell him, that's a piano, and this is a C chord, and, you know, here's where the keys are. Like, he still had to learn all the things that you had to learn. He didn't know any of them prior. He wasn't born with any of the knowledge. He still started absolute zero. And, you know, maybe there's other things, like maybe his finger dexterity is just better than yours. Like, his base dexterity stat was higher. I can't believe I'm using all these video game terms. But his base dexterity stat was higher. So, like, when he started to learn piano, he already had the dexterity to move his fingers, whereas your base stat was lower. So when you were trying to learn, you also had an issue with dexterity. But you could get more dexterity. You could raise your dexterity stat through other things. You know. Other than the very rare occurrence where, like, you want to play basketball but you're really short type thing, I think anyone could improve the skills required to then be good at something. It's just they don't want to because they don't like that thing. You know, if you're like training to be a football wide receiver and you're already a good runner, you're going to have a better time getting from level 1 to level 100 than somebody who's not a good runner. But that person could become a good runner. He could practice running for the next couple of years, and then when he starts learning football, he's got that extra multiplier. You know what I'm saying? Do I just sound like a complete crazy person, or so this making sense? But I don't think a lot of people feel this way, because I think there's a lot of things in life that you try and it just doesn't feel right. And you just think to yourself, like, I would never be good at this. You know? But I think that's a very rare occurrence, to be honest. I really do. I think that the vast majority of things you can be good at. Let's see, like, what, I'm curious. And maybe it's just a physical thing, if not. But what makes you think that you can't be a level 100 runner? Is it literally just you don't think your legs can go fast enough? Because, like, all muscles can be stronger. Like, unless you have a condition where your doctor was like, your legs will never be strong. If you ran today for a mile, and tomorrow for 2 miles, and the next day you slept because you just ran 3 miles, and the next day you ran another mile, and you worked on it for the next 3 years, you would 100% be a better runner. There's no shot your body just doesn't function that way, unless, you know, your body actually doesn't function that way. Not level 100? I hear that. I mean, it depends on what we're saying level 100 is. To me, level 100 is like, let's say, a master. You know how they say, like, put 10,000 hours into something, you become a master? I would say a master. I'm not saying you're Olympic. I'm not saying you're beating the world record. I'm not saying every human being on the face of the planet can beat the current world record for the 500-yard dash. Like, I think that's when you get to the physical, like, only some people are born with even the right stuff to make it there. You know what I mean? But I think anyone can be a quote-unquote master at something. 99th percentile or something, yeah. Like, better than... If you walk into a room of 1,000 people, you can be better than everyone in that room at something if you put enough time into it. Whatever that thing is. You're not going to be better than every person on the planet. There's always someone out there that's put more work or had more money to fund better equipment to be better or whatever it is, you know. Had better genes, whatever. But I think anyone can get to... I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Level 100. You're not level 255. You're not the world record holder, but level 100. You can hit the cap of, like, you're better than everyone in the room. You know? You're better than everyone in your family at something, you know? Whatever it is. I think that's a good way to put it, because I think when we have this conversation, we've had this conversation many times. I think when we normally have this conversation, people think I'm saying you can be the world record freaking Celeste speedrunner if you just play the game for 99,999 hours. I don't think that's exactly the case. You know? But I kind of like this, like, you can be in the top 100 Celeste runners. You can be to the point where people are impressed with your skills. We lost, by the way. I think we have to I don't know. We gotta figure something out here, because this ain't working. Like, it should have worked by now, but I just got really unlucky multiple times. So now I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think the argument always kind of gets to, like, well, I'm never gonna be Usain Bolt. Your bodybuilding point. Take the muscle thing. I spent serious time with a trainer focusing on building muscle it never built. Simply will not. I will never have a chest like Heroes, for example, not for lack of effort or passion, but because of body type. That's fair. I mean, that's, like I said, sometimes, especially, not saying that you're old. Don't take it that way. But especially as you get older, you know, things change. It's hard when it comes to, like, physical stuff, but... you know, the conversation started with video games, and like I said before, video games are in a pretty cool spot where I really do think 99.9% of people, if they put their mind to it, can do just about anything when it comes to video games that they set their mind to. And a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people will come into my chat, see me doing Celeste speedruns, and be like, I could never do this. And I just totally, like, can't disagree more. Because, like I said, many of the speedruns I've done, I specifically targeted games that I thought I would suck at. And force myself to get good at them, to prove to myself that I could do it. And most people don't do that. Most people play a game, and if it doesn't vibe, they're just like, I'm bad at this, and move on. And that's fine. But I just want people to recognize that, like, you're bad at it because you don't like it. It's not because you were born with the inability to play platformers. I hear that so much. People are just like, I'm bad at platformers. Like, you're bad at them because you don't like them and you don't play them. If you liked them, you would play them and then you'd be good at them. You know, see what I'm saying? And I think that extends into other things. I think people feel that way about a lot of stuff in life. You know? I am a horrible cook. I could never cook. I'm so bad at cooking. Every time I cook, I just spill everything and everything blows up, and I'm so terrible at cooking. look at yourself and ask yourself, how much have you cooked in your life? Have you taken a class on cooking? Have you actually like attempted to get better at cooking? Or did you like try it once and fail and be like, I suck at this? Or even 3 or 4 or 5 times and failed and gave up and said, I suck at it. You know? And again, like Retro said, I don't think it extends to everything. But I think it extends to a lot of things that people don't realize. I think it extends to a lot of things. There are plenty of things that maybe you just weren't born to be good at, and that's fine. But the next time you tell yourself, I suck at X, take a long, hard look at it and genuinely think to yourself, were you born with the inability to do it? Or do you just not enjoy it and therefore have not attempted to get good at it? Because I think you'll find a lot of times it's that. That was kind of my thing with cooking, honestly. I really did think that I just sucked at cooking. And then I kind of took the same avenue as I did with speedrunning. I was like, I'm going to take this thing that I think I suck at, and I'm going to like try to be better at it just for the sake of trying. And I don't think I'm like God's gift to cooking or anything, but I can surely do better than I did before. Hey, have a good weekend, man. And cooking's a great example, too, because that's another thing where, like, so little of it is God-given talent, you know? You could say, oh, he was born with a amazing palate. He was born with the physical dexterity to cut stuff fast. But, like, come on. I mean, watch frickin' the kids' Master Chef and tell me you can't, with enough work, be able to cook something decent, you know? I can't believe this has happened. How did this happen? They both woke up at the same time and I couldn't put either of them to sleep. I think also, even if you subscribe to the idea that, like, people are just born to do everything, you know, Gordon Ramsay was born to cook. He was always going to be an incredible cook no matter what. Usain Bolt was born to run. He was always going to be amazing. You shouldn't let that, like, change your opinion of what you can do yourself for anything. You know, those people are so above and beyond everyone else's skill level that doesn't affect you in any way. Right? Gordon Ramsay being God's gift to cooking doesn't affect you on level 20 when he's level 500. Him being level 500 in no way affects your ability to go from level 20 to level 100. Right? Yeah, for sure. I genuinely do. I genuinely think that most people's expectations are skewed. And you can, you know, say that's because of media. You can say that's because of just the general, like, lack of trust in ourselves to be good at things, like, whatever. But I do think that seeing most media is centered around people being good at the things they're good at. Even video games. Most video game streams you watch are going to be people being good at games. It's either people being good at games or people being entertaining at games. And so that definitely skews us a little bit. When you watch, you know, a super amazing Super Mario speedrunner, and then watch a super amazing Celeste speedrunner, and then watch a hitless Dark Souls run, and then watch a professional League of Legends player play, and then watch a professional CSGO game, you're going to look at your abilities and be like, you know, I'm not that great. Right? But again, I really like, I'm going to use this from now on. I really like this idea of, like, your ability level is somewhere in between level 1 and level 100, and you're constantly watching level 200 people. You know? I think that's a great way to think about it. You are constantly watching people at level 200, and that should not affect your ability to go from 1 to 100, or even past 100, but certainly not from 1 to 100. They say that 10,000 hours in anything will make you an expert. I genuinely do think you put 10,000 hours into anything, you're going to be very, very, very good at it. You might not be Usain Bolt, but you're going to be very, very good at that thing. So you're going to be better than everyone in the room at that thing. This is fine. I think when it comes to physical stuff, yes, it's going to be different, but at the end of the day, with a lot of physical things, you don't need to be a level 100, you know? Oh, shoot. I forgot. That's fine. I can do this. Or, actually, should be able to just kill him with Titus. I do this. Okay. We have an attempt here. We have a possible attempt here. Level 100 Crybaby. Anyone can be a level 100 Crybaby. If you take anything from this conversation, take the fact that you can be a level 100 Crybaby if you try hard enough. That one is not a physical incapability for anyone. You can all do it. I believe in all of your abilities. Why did I go an extra hour? I'm gonna have like 97 episodes to edit tonight. The heck am I doing? What have I done? YouTube's eating good this week. All right. Maybe I keep... No, let's go with the plan. We need a fight that Riku can get a turn so we can heal. Yes, this is a pretty good swim. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. I think we Sloga here. We don't need to mix yet. Or do we? Well, just gonna get a turn. Let's just do this. Okay. Dark attack on this guy, and then we're gonna mix potions. And we should be good. We're gonna take some damage, but I'm lucky one of these guys will go to sleep. Ooh, I could delay attack one of them to ensure that they go to sleep. Only costs 4. I think we do it. Alright, they went to sleep anyways. Nice dodge. Huge. Huge. Possibly even massive, I would say. I would even go as far as to say massive. Go to sleep. Please go to sleep. Please go to sleep. Nice. Okay. Okay, now we're just gonna cheer just to be super safe. Third-rate streamer with first-rate chat. Why would you? That's insane. Never say that again. That was a level 100 disc. Level 1 chatter. Am I going to be doing some like TED Talk in 20 years where I'm like, you could be a level 100? That's going to be my thing. That's going to be my shtick. I'm going to start telling my kids they can be a level 100. All their friends are going to make fun of me. Swim, Titus, swim! For your life, please! I've been here for 4 hours! Swim! Oh my god. Don't I get an autosave there? Oh my god, we did it. You can be a level 100. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself out there. If this isn't proof of everything I just told you over the past hour, believe. Believe in yourself. You can do it. God just bestowed upon us this run just to prove my point. Just to prove my point, he bestowed upon us this run. As soon as I start with the motivational speeches, we get there. It was all by design. It was all by design. Okay, do we just reflect spam this?
Mirror of light, reflect magical spite.
Yuna, level 1 poet.
So, how shall we do this?
I just realized I probably should have cast haste on her first. Is anyone else lagging? Okay, good. Can't believe we did it. Believe. Today's word of the day, believe. Believe in yourself and believe in me. And believe in me believing in you. And believe that you can believe in me who believes in you. Something, something, Naruto. We did it. We did it. We made it. Okay. Oh my god. Only took us an extra hour. YouTube, enjoy the 500 episodes of Final Fantasy X Challenge Mod. Thank you all for coming today. Let's say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, thank you so much for watching the Final Fantasy X Motivational Mod. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Join the Patreon if you haven't yet. I love you. We'll see you in the next episodes. Peace.